March 11th, 2026, 6 p.m. The Huntsville Unit, Texas. Inside the execution chamber, fluorescent lights cast everything in sterile white. The gurney sits center stage. Leather straps hang open, waiting. The clock on the wall measures the final hours, each second deliberate, final. Witnesses begin arriving. They file into the viewing room behind thick glass. Some are family members of the victims. Some are required observers. All are silent. The warden stands at attention. His face reveals nothing. This is routine. Protocol. In the adjacent room, IV lines are being prepared. 2 lines, backup systems. Pentobarbital waits in measured doses. Cedric Allen Ricks, 51 years old, is being moved from the holding cell. The straps will be secured across his chest, his arms, his legs. The needle will enter his vein, and the state of Texas will deliver its final judgment. Tonight, the state of Texas carries out its sentence. His name is Cedric Allen Ricks. On May 1st, 2013, inside a Bedford apartment, he stabbed his girlfriend, Roxanne Sanchez, to death. She was 30 years old. He stabbed her 8-year-old son, Anthony Figueroa, more than 40 times. The boy died at the scene. He stabbed her 12-year-old son, Marcus Figueroa, 25 times. Marcus survived by pretending to be dead, by mimicking the final sounds his younger brother made as he died. In May 2014, after less than 1 hour of deliberation, a Tarrant County jury convicted Ricks of capital murder. After 7 hours of deliberation during the penalty phase, they sentenced him to death. 12 years on death row. Appeals to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. Denied. Federal habeas petition. Denied. United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. Denied on November 4th, 2024. On October 20th, 2025, a state district judge signed the execution order, and now March 11th has arrived. Cedric Allen Ricks was born on September 8, 1974, in Illinois. Little is publicly known about his early childhood. No documented abuse. No clear trauma that shaped what he would become. What is known comes from court testimony, from those who knew him, feared him. He was a medical assistant. He had been married, had children from previous relationships. But beneath the surface of normalcy, there was violence. His ex-wife testified during the penalty phase of his trial. She described a man with an explosive temper, a man who verbally and physically abused her. She recalled the time he threw her to the ground, threatened to kill her, repeatedly stabbed the ground around her head and face with a knife, close enough to feel the blade, not close enough to draw blood, a psychological torture. He choked her until she lost consciousness in front of an Illinois police station during a child visitation exchange. After she gave birth to their son, Ricks told her in the hospital, "I hope it dies." 2 ex-girlfriends testified with similar accounts. A dangerous man, an explosive temper, a pattern of violence against women. During his trial, neuroscience researcher Jeffrey Lewine testified about Ricks's brain biology. Brain imaging showed he was predisposed to violent behavior, impaired ability to form emotional relationships, diminished capacity to read facial cues, biologically predisposed toward increased aggression and violent behavior. This was who Cedric Ricks was long before May 1st, 2013. May 1st, 2013, Bedford, Texas. Colonial Village Apartments, 1400 block of Park Place Boulevard. Early evening, around 7 o'clock. Roxanne Sanchez returns home with her 3 sons. They've just come from Walmart, groceries, a routine trip. Anthony, 8 years old, Marcus, 12, and Isaiah, 9 months old. Isaiah is Roxanne's son with Cedric Ricks. Cedric is waiting outside. A neighbor sees Roxanne on the stairs, bags in her hands. Cedric cursing at her, yelling. The argument that started outside continues inside the apartment. What begins as words escalates, quickly, violently. Ricks throws Roxanne down, begins beating her, strangling her. Marcus and Anthony witness everything. They try to intervene, try to protect their mother. Ricks grabs a kitchen knife. In front of her sons, he stabs Roxanne, repeatedly, ferociously. The Tarrant County medical examiner would later determine she died from stab wounds to the neck, blunt force injuries to the head, asphyxia. Then he turns to Anthony. The 8-year-old is stabbed more than 40 times, cut, slashed, a child who never had a chance. Marcus runs into his bedroom closet. He pulls out his cell phone, tries to call 911. Ricks jerks open the closet door. Marcus drops the phone, grabs the knife. His hands are cut open, severely. He flees into the living room. Ricks catches him, throws him down, begins stabbing. The head, the neck, the back of the neck, the chest, the hands, the face. 25 stab wounds. Marcus is 12 years old. When Ricks stops and walks away, Marcus tries to get up. Ricks returns, starts stabbing again. Marcus makes a decision, a calculation no child should ever have to make. He remembers the sound his brother made, a gurgling, the last breaths of a dying boy. Marcus mimics it. Ricks stops. Marcus lies motionless on the floor, near the bodies of his mother and brother, blood pooling around him. He listens. Ricks takes a shower, changes clothes, treats his own wounds, packs a bag. The baby, Isaiah, cries somewhere in the apartment. Ricks does not harm him. Marcus waits, doesn't move, doesn't breathe loudly. Finally, he hears Ricks leave. Marcus gets up, calls 911. Police and paramedics arrive within minutes. Marcus is airlifted to a hospital. His survival is a miracle. Roxanne Sanchez and Anthony Figueroa are pronounced dead at the scene. As Marcus is being rushed to the hospital, Cedric Ricks is driving north in Roxanne's car. He calls 2 family members. He confesses, "I killed Roxy and her boys." He asks them to go to the apartment, get his son Isaiah. The relatives call 911 immediately. Authorities trace Ricks's cell phone. He's headed north, possibly toward Illinois, his home state. An alert goes out to law enforcement across state lines. At 11 p.m., 2 Oklahoma Highway Patrol troopers spot Roxanne's car. About 70 miles across the Texas-Oklahoma border, they pull him over. Cedric Allen Ricks is arrested without incident. He's taken to Garvin County Jail in Oklahoma. Inmates learn what he's done. They beat him. Shortly afterward, he waives extradition, returns to Tarrant County. He's charged with capital murder. Bond set at $4 million for the murder charges, an additional $500,000 for injury to a child. The state of Texas announces it will seek the death penalty. May 2014, Judge Molly Westfall's courtroom, Tarrant County. Prosecutors Bob Gill and Robert Huseman present the state's case. The evidence is overwhelming. The confession to family members, the flight, the arrest in Oklahoma driving the victim's car, and then there's Marcus. 12 years old when the murders happened, 13 when he testifies. He takes the stand, describes the attack in detail, how Ricks stabbed his mother, his brother, how he ran to the closet to call for help. He held my head down with one hand and stabbed me with the other hand. He stabbed me a bunch of times. He didn't say anything. After he stabbed me, he pushed me to the ground. He describes making the gurgling sound, the sound that saved his life. The jury hears every word, sees the scars. 25 stab wounds. Marcus Figueroa is the reason Cedric Ricks is convicted. On May 8, 2014, the jury deliberates less than 1 hour. Guilty. Capital murder. The penalty phase begins. The defense presents neuroscience testimony, brain imaging, biological predisposition to violence. The prosecution presents Ricks's violent history, ex-wife, ex-girlfriends, a pattern spanning years. Ricks himself testifies during the penalty phase. He tells the jury he wants to die. He avoids the specifics of the murders. It's irrelevant what happened that night. The jury made a decision to convict me on the facts that were presented. The jury deliberates for 7 hours. On May 16, 2014, they return their verdict, death. Cedric Allen Ricks is sentenced to die by lethal injection. Ricks is sent to Polunsky Unit, Livingston, Texas, death row. His cell is 60 square feet, concrete, a metal bunk, a toilet, a sink, 23 hours a day inside, 1 hour of recreation, alone. He appeals. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals reviews his case. They affirm his conviction and sentence in 2017. He files a federal habeas petition, denied. He appeals to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. denied on November 4, 2024. He claims racial discrimination in jury selection, ineffective assistance of counsel, due process violations. Every claim is rejected. Unlike many death row inmates who wait decades, Ricks exhausts his appeals relatively quickly. He pleaded guilty to the facts, admitted what he did. The legal process moves faster when there's no factual dispute. 12 years on death row. During that time, he corresponds with supporters, writes letters, reads, prays, according to some accounts, but the calendar continues its march, and on October 20th, 2025, the execution date is set, March 11th, 2026. This morning, Cedric Allen Ricks wakes in his cell at Polunsky Unit for the last time. Standard Texas execution protocol begins. He is offered a final visit with approved family members or spiritual advisors. The details of these visits are not public. At some point this afternoon, he is transferred from Polunsky Unit to the Huntsville Unit, the Walls Unit, where Texas executions are carried out. The drive takes approximately 2.5 hours. He is placed in a holding cell adjacent to the execution chamber. There is no special last meal in Texas. That practice ended in 2011. Death row inmates receive the same meal as the general prison population. What Cedric Ricks eats for his final meal is undisclosed. The hours pass. Legal teams make final checks. No last-minute stays have been filed. No intervention from the courts. No clemency from the governor. The execution will proceed. At some point this evening, the warden visits the holding cell, explains the procedure, asks if Ricks has any final words prepared. Witnesses arrive, family members of Roxanne Sanchez and Anthony Figueroa, media representatives, required state observers. They take their seats behind the glass. 6 p.m. approaches. The straps are prepared, the IV lines checked, the pentobarbital is ready. Everything is in place. As of this moment, the details of Cedric Allen Ricks's final statement have not yet been publicly released. Whether he offers words of remorse, whether he speaks to the families of his victims, whether he maintains silence. These details will emerge only after the execution is complete. In previous testimony, during his trial, he expressed a desire to die, avoided discussing the specifics of what he did. Whether that sentiment remains today is unknown. The microphone is positioned near the gurney. The witnesses wait. Soon, his final words will be spoken, or not spoken, and they will be the last anyone hears from Cedric Allen Ricks. The execution chamber door opens. Cedric Allen Ricks is escorted inside. He is placed on the gurney. The leather straps are secured across his chest, his arms, his legs. He cannot move. The IV technicians insert the lines, one in each arm. The backup is always ready. The warden stands nearby, observing, following protocol. Behind the glass, witnesses sit in silence. Some stare, some look away. Some have waited 13 years for this moment. The warden asks Ricks if he has any final words. The microphone is moved away. The warden gives the signal. The pentobarbital begins to flow through the IV line, a single barbiturate designed to cause unconsciousness, then respiratory failure, then cardiac arrest. Ricks's eyes begin to close. His breathing slows. 1 minute. His chest rises and falls, slower with each breath. 2 minutes. His body goes still. 3 minutes. Medical personnel monitor vital signs, heart rate, respiration, brain activity. The process is methodical, clinical, final. At the time determined by medical personnel, Cedric Allen Ricks is pronounced dead. The exact time will be recorded, documented, released to the media. The 13th execution in Texas in 2026 is complete. The witnesses are escorted out, some in tears, some relieved, all forever changed. The body is removed from the gurney, prepared for release to family or burial. The execution chamber is cleaned, sanitized, made ready for the next. On May 1st, 2013, 2 lives ended in a Bedford apartment. Roxanne Sanchez, 30 years old, a mother trying to protect her children. Anthony Figueroa, 8 years old, a boy who never had a chance to grow up. Marcus Figueroa survived, but he carries scars that will never fully heal. Physical, psychological. The memory of watching his mother and brother die. The memory of pretending to be dead to survive. He was 13 when he testified against Cedric Ricks, brave beyond measure. His testimony secured the conviction. Now 25 years old, Marcus has lived half his life knowing his testimony sent a man to death row. Today, that sentence is carried out. Texas has executed more inmates than any other state since the death penalty was reinstated in 1976. Over 500 executions, a system built on the principle that some crimes demand the ultimate punishment. Cedric Allen Ricks confessed to his family. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated less than an hour to convict, 7 hours to sentence him to death. But questions remain, always. Neuroscience showed his brain was biologically predisposed to violence. Does that mitigate responsibility or explain it? He had a history of abusing women, a pattern of explosive rage. Could intervention have prevented May 1st, 2013? These questions don't change what happened. They don't bring back Roxanne or Anthony. They don't erase Marcus's trauma. They simply exist in the space between justice and understanding. Tonight, inside the Huntsville unit, the state of Texas exercises its legal authority. Cedric Allen Ricks, who took 2 lives and nearly took a third, is executed by lethal injection. For the families of Roxanne Sanchez and Anthony Figueroa, it may bring closure, or it may simply mark the end of a long, painful chapter. For Marcus Figueroa, who survived by mimicking his dying brother's final breaths, the scars remain. Some wounds never heal. Some sounds are never forgotten. On March 11th, justice, loss, and consequence meet in a single room in Huntsville. And when the IV lines are removed and the chamber is emptied, 2 questions linger in the sterile silence. Does this execution restore what was taken, or does it simply add another death to the count?